Good afternoon and welcome back to Asgard and welcome back to Infitech. So I've been very busy since last episode. I've been using some of you guys' suggestions and everything. I did go ahead and start setting up some AE auto crafting. Basically just infrastructure right now. This will all be moved once I add the additional floors up through here. But I did go ahead and get that started. Also, I went ahead and made an OV scanner and a portable tricorder scanner. This way I can check pollution and different things and scan different blocks. And then, which I noticed actually the pollution where my blast furnace is like 1801 right now. So as of right now though, nothing terrible's happened. You'll also notice that I've started building out some of the road system and planning out some of the city. Actually, let me sleep before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. And I also made the OV scanner, by the way, which this, if we come over here and say we scan like right here, we can see how much lignite coal ore, how much coal ore amber, so on. This helps us find locations of ores, which is very nice. Speaking of the scanners, actually, we do have a quest to complete here because there was a quest to get the tricorder. So we'll go ahead and take a material bag. Sounds good. And of course, I've been doing the cracked fuel steel. I do absolutely love that quest. Over here, you'll notice that, I don't know what just happened right there. You'll notice that I started basically planning out some posts of an additional building that we're going to build. And this one's going to be fun. It's going to be our first really like super large scale build, I think, like on a grand scale. Because, of course, power has been an issue. And I'm well aware that that little dinky reactor and our current steam setup is not going to support our base. But you may notice that I don't like using like fossil fuels and stuff that's non-renewable. I hate using that kind of stuff. I think it's just me, like I'll sit on just drums of oil before I'll ever use the stuff, for a power source. So what we're going to be doing is a very large scale renewable power source that produces EV power. So basically I was digging through the quest book and NEI and everything, and one thing I'm very comfortable with is forestry, especially like tree breeding and stuff like that. So we're going to use forestry for our power source. And what we're going to do is we are going to, I've got to work my way up to the diesel engine, but you'll notice I was reading through here and this will accept ethanol. So that's what we're going to do. And, I was going through there, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the fermenter from forestry, and we are going to use some forestry trees. Now, you'll notice there is a lot of tree breeding going on over here. Basically, we have, like, lemon and hill cherry, and we've got, over there is blue maho, which is actually the tree we're going to use, is blue maho. Because in my past experiences with blue maho, using it for biodiesel or ethanol production with biomass, it produces a fair number of saplings. I've never had any issues with it running dry, running out of saplings or anything like that. And usually I'll have a bit of excess from that, not using grafters and the like. So what we're going to do is we are going to use blue maho in addition to fruit juice and mulch creation. With forestry. So what we can do here, if we take a look at ethanol, what my goal is to use the distillation tower, which is another multi-block from GregTech that we're going to get into building along with the diesel generator once I start getting some of the infrastructure set up. So hopefully, maybe in the next episode or two, we'll be ready to start some of these multi-blocks and start getting some of this stuff set up. But it is, like I said, a very large build because I want to build this in a way that we won't really have to worry about power anymore. Like we can sit on this ethanol production and like I said, if we take a look at the quest book here, it says that it's going to produce a static 2048 or 6144 EU per tick. So that's what we're going to gun for, because EV power seems to be the last like full tier power that we really need to focus on right this second. And I think I'll be pretty happy with it. And we're going to build it in a way that we can expand it without worrying about the amount of ethanol production and whatnot. So if we take a look at ethanol here, like I said, we're going to make it in the distillation tower. All it takes is biomass, and it's going to produce some wood pulp, some ethanol, and some water. Which the water we're probably just going to toss. The wood pulp, I don't know. Don't care about that as much. We'll find a use for it. But the ethanol is what we want. So we get 60 ethanol for every 150 biomass. But if we take a look at biomass, the best way I actually found to find this is just click on a bucket. Biomass is produced in the fermenter from forestry, and we can use different combinations of fruit juice, honey, or water with different kinds of saplings and fruit and plants, that kind of thing. But then it also requires a fuel in the form of either mulch, compost, or fertilizer, which is of course apatite, or if we get into bees, we could make fertilizer that way as well, or get far enough into bees. But what I'm planning on doing is actually producing mulch and fruit juice and combining those two together, because based on the liquid that you use, you're going to get better output for biomass. So if we take a look here, and it may take me a second here. Alright, if you're clicking through here, you'll notice that a lot of these are kind of low biomass, usually between 100 and 100 and like 300 millibuckets of biomass. However, right here, 2,250, and it's fairly easy to do. All we need is blue maho saplings, which are easy to breed, honestly. It didn't take me very long. And then we're going to need, of course, a fuel, which we're going to use mulch, and then a fruit juice. So what I'm planning on doing is, if we look at the squeezer, there's multiple different ways to get fruit juice. However, if certain ones actually have a chance of producing mulch. Now, plum actually has a really high chance. In comparison, it has a 30% chance to produce mulch and 50 fruit juice. However, plum isn't the easiest thing to farm. So what we're going to do is we are going to go with carrots. Carrots are absolutely wonderful because, of course, carrots are extremely easy to farm. And they have a 10% chance to produce mulch and produce 100 millibuckets of fruit juice. So very, very potent. And so what I'm thinking is we're going to make like a base layer of carrots. Maybe just Ender.io farmers or something like that, just farming carrots. I don't have to worry about any kind of plant growing, none of that. It's just plant some carrots and let them go. And I think a few Ender.io farmers will maybe do like 2 layers of carrots, and then above that we're going to do blue maho trees with maybe Ender.io farmers cutting it down and getting the wood and the saplings. And then of course the wood we can always feed back to make axes and hoes, and then we can just have a cobble gen as far as making the cobble tools. But then also additional wood we could always use for steam production, charcoal, that kind of thing. So we'll have extra wood coming in. We'll have, and then we'll have tons of power coming in the form of fruit juice, mulch, all feeding in to make ethanol. And then, of course, all that's going to go through and it's going to make our ethanol for us. And this will be easy, super easy, I think, to scale up. And then we'll just feed it all into diesel engines, and hopefully we will be set on power, is my goal. Because usually ethanol, if you get a big setup for that, it is very, very effective. So that's, I think, what we're going to do. Also, I had a suggestion to start getting into some Thaumcraft infused seeds. So I did start doing that. They're really not expensive, but getting to the one that I want, which is of course the diamond one initially, but there's also like ender pearls, things like that I do want. There's a number of these that I actually do want. Actually, I can't look at it in any eye, but it is a bit of a process. Making the seeds themselves isn't bad. You first make just a balanced seed, and you can make them with pretty much any shard. I know in the Thaumonomicon, which it does take a research to get that, in the Thaumonomicon here, infused crops, I know it says to make the balanced infused shards, it takes balanced shards and seeds with meadow and messes. Now this is all true except for the balanced shards. I just used earth shards and it worked. So I don't know if that's not intended or not, but I didn't have to use balanced shards. So just a heads up on that. It seems like 4 of any shard seems to do the trick. But normally it'll flip through the shards if, you can use whatever. But for some reason this one only says balance, but I was able to use whatever. So it's going to get you these balance infused shards, and then what you have to do is you have to throw them in with some air into your crucible or your construct, and that's how you're going to get your infused seeds. So I got Ordo and I got Terra is what I got, because of course Ordo and Terra, you combine them together, you're going to get Vitreous, which is how you get diamonds. Now this doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get diamonds, but I went ahead and planted a bit of these because Ordo seeds are absolutely wonderful, because if you break these you get a full stack of glass. So honestly, very, very good seeds to start out with. And basically we're going to have these breeding. Now this isn't something I normally do, so I'm not the best at it, I'll admit. But I did make quite a few of these because they are fairly cheap to make if you have just some shards. So of course Ordo and Terra really aren't difficult aspects for us to get at all. And then Messis and whatever it's called, I can't think of it. Messis and Meadow, can never think of that one, aren't really that bad to get either. So let me go ahead and call our elevator down here. Anyway though, today what I want to get into is working on getting our rocket ship. Because that's of course something that we've been working on. Like I said, we will break from that for a little bit when we set up our power gen, as well as I want to go kill the Ender Dragon still. I actually considered doing that this episode, but I decided I really actually want to get the rocket ship itself made. So of course this side, these quests we're not going to worry about right now. Decompression and oxygen storage I'm not really concerned with, because honestly decompression is something I don't normally use personally, and oxygen storage of course is not possible at the moment. So also this one for the frequency module, I'm not really that crazy about. The only thing is it makes, if you don't have it, the moon's kind of silent. But we may end up making it before we take off. But anyway, the first thing that we're going to need is our NASA workbench. Now this thing is fairly expensive in this pack. We're going to need some. I've got most of the stuff prepped. I don't know about the cable. I may have to go make some, but I don't think I have any 4x aluminum left, honestly. No. But I should have aluminum wire, and that won't be a problem. But we're going to need these iridium reinforced plates. Now these things are expensive, and I did forget to make a 3x3 schematic. That's okay. I'll make one of them in a second. Or I might just snag one from the ore area, or the cobble area. These reinforced plates, we're going to have to throw them in, which I haven't been using industrial TNT all that much. I don't have a setup for it just yet, so I haven't even bothered. But we're going to use TNT with these iridium alloy ingots, which are iridium plates, advanced alloys, and industrial diamonds. So very, very expensive. We do have a bit of these, and we're going to need 2 of these plates, which I went ahead and made up some iridium. So let's go ahead. We're going to need 8 of these plates. Alright, so now we have our NASA workbench. And now this thing doesn't require power. By the way, I did make a few wafers. We have 1 advanced wafer left. I only made 2 of those. I'm hoping we don't use a bunch of them. And then I made 8 basic wafers. So this NASA workbench does not require power, which is great. That is a major benefit of it, and it actually looks really, really cool. One thing that I wish these arms would actually move when you did things. That would be awesome. But you'll notice here that we have a couple pages. This is where we're going to add schematics once we get new ones and we can unlock them. But we'll get into that. We have to actually go into space and stuff before we'll get more schematics. But for our tier 1 rocket, which we've already looked at the recipe before, it is fairly expensive. So basically we're going to need a bunch of these heavy duty plates, which are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. We are going to have to craft ourselves some of this heavy duty alloy ingots and then throw them in there with TNT. And this stuff is compressed steel, compressed aluminum, compressed bronze, and stainless steel bolts to make that. So very, very, very expensive. Altogether, we're going to need 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 of those. 32. So fun times. So let me get a bit of stainless here. Let's go with like, I don't know. I don't even know. We're going to have to make ourselves a bunch of stainless steel bolts. So let's see. We want our heavy duty alloy. Now there is a tier 2 as well. We'll get into that later on, I'm sure, but it takes tungsten, compressed meteoric iron, and tier 1 bolts. Oh god. And the tier 3 is tier 2's tungsten steel oh my god. Because Galacticraft works on you know, on tiers like that, so this is going to be fairly expensive, I can already tell. Okay, so let's go. I've actually got a little bit more TNT inside the system. I'll probably have to grab that, but we'll throw this in there, we'll throw that in there, and start exploding things. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, so we have 14 of them out of 32. But at least we did get some stainless steel dust back, which of course, oh wait, that's 9 by. Okay. It's small piles that are 4. Alright, so let's see, we've still got somewhere around here, we've got the rest of our bolts. Maybe, they're not done. God, it's going to be so many bolts. Okay, I'm pretty sure my math got off somewhere along the line, because we still have like 92 stainless steel bolts and I made 37 plates. So I don't know what happened. I must suck at math somewhere. Alright, and the next thing that we're going to want is we're just going to want, I accidentally made one too many plate there, but we're going to want one of these steel firebox casings. Because we have to make ourselves a rocket engine. This is probably the most expensive of the bunch. A button, of course, isn't anything. The activity detector is just a wrought iron plate and a redstone torch with some of that soldering alloy that we have downstairs. So let's go ahead and grab, actually, I always pick the wrong side first, I've noticed. Let's get a piece of wrought iron and then stick, and we'll get that, and then let's get this. Oh, I need to go downstairs actually. We'll get this ran through here. I run a full circle every time I get off the elevators, regardless, always a full circle. Soldering alloy. Gosh, I forgot to make the plate. Dang it. Dang it. Why are you not opening? Alright. So let's get the plate really, really quick. And we'll get this made. And then we get to make a lighter, which is fun. A lot of this stuff is totally different than like standard Galacticraft, so like I end up having to look through this a bit. And so we've got that running. Now the lighter is kind of bizarre. You need to get some of this gasoline. Now I'm not entirely sure if we can use gasoline from, let's see, I believe it's the fluid canning machine that we're going to need to run that through. Now I'm not sure if we can use this gasoline. You know, I didn't think about it. We might be able to. That's a diesel cell. I wonder if we could use that. We're going to try to use that, and if it doesn't work, that's okay. Alright, so we can actually use the gasoline from Pneumaticraft. So that's great. That means chances are maybe we can use that gasoline as our fuel once we start flying as well. Because I believe it should use the same fuel as the lighter. If GregTech lighter accepts Pneumaticraft's gasoline, then so should our fuel tanks in a bit once we set out. So now that we've got that, the other thing that we're going to need that's kind of obscure, yeah, we've got all of that, and rocket fins, no problem. The nose cone, though, we're going to need a red fixture, which is basically just Illumor, which I've made before. A lot of the lights that I use take this stuff. It's really easy to make, just some red dye and some glowstone. And then we're also going to need to smelt up a little bit of stone here, because I don't think I have any of this stuff left on hand. So we get a little bit of these circuit plates. Honestly, 4 should be plenty for us. I don't know if I have red dye. I'm pretty sure I'd have like posies or whatever on hand. Let's see. Red Jabura. Let's see. Can I run this through something and get to the extractor? Alright, that works for me. That does, in fact, work for me. Where in the hell am I going? Alright. The extractor. I want to say I have one of them over here. Yes. I thought so. So we'll go ahead and get our red dye. The rest of the stuff is honestly super easy. Dye is just one of those things, like, I don't know if anybody else is this way, but I never feel like I have dye, because I don't really go out and pick flowers all that much. So, it's just not something, actually I want glowstone first. We'll do that, and then we'll need red fixture, right? We're going to need a conductive plate, and then we're just going to need some circuit plates as well. And there we go. We got our red fixture. So now we have to make our nose cone, just like so. And we need to get our fins, which are right here, just like, oh shoot, no, I don't want that. Alright, so we're ready to get our rocket fins now. Well, technically. There we go. And then the last thing that we're going to need is going to be our rocket engine. So, let's go ahead. Tier 1 rocket engine. I need a button. Of all the things to be missing. And there we go. Tier 1 rocket engine. So now it wants us to make a Tier 1 rocket. Which we can put storage chests right up here, but I'm not going to worry about it. Honestly, like, no, I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Because I know I had a suggestion the other day, and I need to actually make one. Is it red power? Okay, it's the backpacks from Project Red Exploration. I'm actually going to make some of these before we go, and that's how I'm going to transfer our items. Personally, I like having backpacks more than having to pull it all out of the storage slots once you land. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to make a few of these backpacks, take them with us, and then set up a moon base once we go. So we're not going to worry about the storage slots. Plus, another thing, I'm not entirely sure. Okay. I'm not entirely sure because it says Tier 1 rocket. It doesn't show any slots. So I'm worried that it's going to be like, well, you don't get your quest reward because you didn't do this right. So we're just going to bypass that. Like I said, I'm not too concerned about the chests, honestly. But you can do it, and it's going to give you up to like 56 slots. It's basically 3 chests worth of storage that you can have on your rocket. So anyway, we'll put our items in just like so, and you know what? Throw all that shit on the ground. I forgot my plates. Alright. And we only need, I think it's actually 8 of them, right? Yeah, it's just 8 of them. So nose cone on the top, our fins on the side here, our engine at the bottom, and then 8 of these will get us our Tier 1 rocket. Aha! I've never been so happy to get one of those because this one has been expensive. And so we actually get 2 bags. I guess we're going to go with 2 material bags. Good stuff. And let's go ahead and pop these. We've got Tier 4s and a Tier 3. Okay. And I saw some uranium. No, stop it. And that. And that, and that, and that. Take all this stuff. Hey. Alright, let me go get some milk. I know I had a suggestion a while back to do a miner's backpack, but the reason that I don't do one of those is because it would honestly become something that I just have to go pick up whenever I go to open backpacks, because honestly the miner's backpack is one of the things that I hate more than anything. I cannot stand the miner's backpack. Basically because a lot of the stuff that I'll go to pick up, it'll be like, well, it's going in your backpack. And it drives me absolutely insane. So I honestly never get those things. I had one on another series. Actually, I want to say I found one in a dungeon, maybe on all the mods or something. But I remember I just like got rid of the thing like immediately after getting it, because those things drive me insane. Nothing against people that like to use them. It's just not my thing. If I'm going mining, that's one thing, but just to carry it around, it drives me absolutely bonkers. So, but anyway, so we created our rocket finally. Let's take a look at our next quest. So, we got us a clipboard. I've actually made some of these already. But anyway, we're going to need to get a rocket launch pad, compressed iron, advanced alloy, and blocks of iron for 3 of those. So it's actually more expensive than normal. Normally it's just compressed iron, blocks of iron, and you get 9. But they threw in those advanced alloys. I might actually craft that off camera, I don't know. And then it wants us to make advanced solar panels. It wants us to make 2 of them. That's not too bad, actually. Yeah, I may get the stuff together. Next episode, honestly, I think we're sitting in a position where next episode we will probably start getting close to ready to launch. There's a few things that I want. For example, an oxygen... what's it called? There's a few things that I want. And I'm kind of curious. The bubble distributor, you can use that. I don't personally prefer it. I like the oxygen sealer myself. This is not terrible. I'm surprised. This is actually fairly cheap. I mean, cheaper than I was expecting. I do want the oxygen sealer. And, of course, we've already got a collector and a compressor. And then I'm also going to want... I mean, that's the major things. And then, of course, we're also going to want airlocks. But we're going to need meteoric iron like crazy before we can get that. So, it's going to be fun times. I'm thinking... I don't know, we'll figure out something. We may end up having to take some stuff with us to be able to craft that once we get to the moon. So I may have to take some GregTech stuff with me to be able to make those plates and everything. So, but we are getting fairly close to launching. We're getting fairly close. So, I mean, it's mainly getting our solar panels, getting our oxygen sealer, getting our fuel, little things like that, get our launch pad and all that stuff. So I'm probably going to get a few of these things crafted off camera, like the launch pad is no big deal. It's just a little bit expensive. The clipboard is really easy. So, okay, he's going to give us a clipboard. Okay. Well, we'll see what all that clipboard has. If you guys are like ahead of me and you're ready to launch and you want to know what to take, in CrackPack, I recently did a video that has a pre-flight to the moon checklist as well. It is very generous on the checklist though, because it's like, you know, excess fuel, excess all this different stuff, but it is a very safe list to go with. And one, if you're new to Galacticraft, I definitely suggest checking that out, because like I said, it is very thorough as far as everything that you could possibly need, assuming you don't have OP things. I do take teleports with me, like Draconic Evolution ones, but I also cover what you would need in the event that you don't have teleports and stuff, so that option is there as well. But we will see what his checklist has next episode, and start preparing our final launch preparations and everything, getting everything in order to hopefully go into space before long. Our first forays into space, so it's pretty exciting. I actually went to Mars today on CrackPack, so yesterday when this video comes out. Which was definitely exciting. We got lucky and got a tier 3 schematic like first thing. It was great. But anyway, I'm going to quit rambling. I know the episode's already running along. Like I said, next episode we'll come back. We'll start doing a lot of the finalization, and then start getting ready for actual launch, because we've almost got everything for the most part. We still need to make like a fuel loader and things like that, but most of that stuff I don't think is going to take that long. The rocket was the most expensive, dreadful thing to make, I think. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And I hope you guys join me for next episode. Things are getting excited. I'm excited and absolutely terrified of going into space on this pack. So it's kind of a mix. So I hope you guys join me for all of that good times, and until next time, as always, do take care, and I hope to see you guys next time.